Welcome back. A lot of clouds around the region right now. Temperatures mid 70s, feels like upper 70s, low 80s. Very balmy wind coming in from the southeast. If you think it feels gross right now, it's going to only be worse as we get into this evening now with this rain coming in. So you have evening plans, make sure to have that rain gear ready to go, especially if you're in the western half of the region. Now, let's first start off with the wind gusts that are largely coming from the southeast at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. A gusty spot right now is Butler at 21 miles per hour, but obviously the rain coming in is the big thing. Flood watch in effect for a lot of middle Georgia until 8 a.m. tomorrow. It's this southwestern half of the region, essentially Macon, Warner Robins, Hawkinsville. We are all in that flood watch risk. This tornado watch getting covered up, all the rain coming in. You still see it there. Lee County, that in effect till 9 a.m. later on this evening. But obviously we are seeing a lot of lightning and rain as these storms are getting near. The good news is that in terms of severe activity, it's really just down in the Florida Panhandle right now. Obviously we can still see things spice up a little bit, and you can also make out there's a flash flood warning. So a lot going on, and with all this rain beginning to make its way in, if you have plans this evening, make sure you have that rain gear. Tonight's low is 65. It's very, very warm. South-southeast wind, gusts as high as 48 miles per hour. That's not counting wind of the storms. That's just the ambient wind. So very, very windy night ahead of this cold front. And then here we go. Let's map this out in terms of these severe threats. Level 1 is what we're looking at tonight. That tornado watch I mentioned firmly within this level 3 and level 2 zone right now. But here in middle Georgia, we are seeing this level 1 that's going to go till 5 a.m. tomorrow, and then a level 2 as we get into the later hours of tomorrow morning. So that switchover occurs at 5 a.m. So those of us, far southeast, maybe a little more weather aware as we wake up tomorrow morning. Let's kind of map this out. This is very messy, what's beginning to come into the region from the west right now. A lot of that severe activity, again, currently down in the Florida Panhandle. We approach midnight. This is just thunderstorms in here until we get towards that 5 a.m. mark. Not to say that nothing severe can happen before 5 a.m., but the odds of severe activity are going to most certainly increase more as the sun comes up tomorrow and things warm back up. These storms a little more organized as we go through the beginning of tomorrow. So that's where that level 2 threat comes in for us. Masters and Augusta, that's going to be a late start because these storms coming through. So don't worry, you're not going to be missing any of that action here because of the severe storms if you are someone who enjoys watching the Gulf. Now, let's go ahead and break this down into risk levels. We are seeing medium risk for high wind and for flooding. And again, while flooding isn't technically a severe threat, we've had a lot of rain lately, especially if you go back to March. We got the most rain in the month of March since 2009. I think it's the third or fourth wettest March since 2000. So a lot of rain. And so our water table is very, very high. But thunderstorm winds could easily be 70 plus miles per hour. That's where that wind threat comes in. A brief tornado can't be ruled out, but the odds are slim. So we got all this rain moving through most of the night, and a lot of it is just thunder, lightning, and moderate to heavy rain. But as we get into tomorrow, those storms do begin to form out a little bit and intensify. You can kind of make out these storms becoming more organized, and it's this late morning section here as we go into the end of the line that we see that level 2 threat here in middle Georgia. Make sure when this is all said and done, when it comes to this rain, any standing water that's like on your porch or anything, dump that out, because this is that type of rain the mosquitoes are looking for. Because now after this, 70s on Friday and then 80s over the weekend, they're going to be out. And if you have standing water sitting out from this rain, that will act as a breeding ground for them. So just life advice, don't leave standing water sitting on your porch. Your extended forecast is coming up in 10 seconds. Your 41 NBC AccuWeather 7-day forecast is brought to you by Volume Chevrolet. I miss the cold fronts that would make things cold, right? Well, it'll be cooler on Friday, but very, very warm weekend. Some of us will be in the 80s on Saturday. We'll all be there by Sunday, and we're knocking on the door of the 90s early next week. A scorching hot April.